Hello one, hello all, greetings and salutations, welcome back to the tune-up. I know y'all been waiting, and I know y'all want to see other stuff from these guys as well, so I'm working on all that right now. There's just a lot going on. I'm getting the simulation theory from Muse. Now, I've heard that this is way 80s inspired, like super 80s heavy. And I love the 80s. I live for the 80s. 70s funk is still my favorite era, but I love the 80s sound too. I haven't really been listening to Muse recently. Like, I really used to just bump Muse back in the dorms, back in 2012, 2013. Still remember the first time I heard Madness, and I remember they really took over when they dropped those records for the Twilight soundtracks. Those records were crazy. So I'm excited. I mean, y'all know I listen to so much music, it's hard to keep up with people. So I don't have enough time to get into the super deluxe version that's available, so I checked what the standard track list was, so I'm gonna do that. If you want me to do the other versions of everything, I can do a separate video, maybe after this one. Let me know how y'all feeling. But let's get into Muse Simulation Theory. Number 1, algorithm. Ooh. Sounds like Tron. I love it. I can hear like Tears for Fears on this or something. Ooh. That scale. Oh, that scale is crazy. Wow. I think that alone just sums up the whole album cover. I think that was just perfect. The retro vibes are obviously going crazy, but I love how orchestral it was. I hope that's the right way to say that word. There was a lot of composition that went into it, and it wasn't just an 80s inspired banger. You know what I mean? There was so much musicality to it, and I love just the overall imposing feel it had. Like it left an impression. It definitely grabbed your attention off top. It was thumping bass, and the beat was just pulsating the entire time from start to finish. I loved it. Thought it was great. Great opener. Number 2, The Dark Side. Oh, I love it. Wow. I can hear Blondie on this. The people that sang Don't You Want Me Baby. Oh, their name escapes me, but I can hear them on this too. I love it. Oh. I love the synthesizer, the vocoder sounding thing kind of reminded me of Zapp and Roger a little bit. The vivid nature of the notes and the melody felt so bright and colorful. I loved it. As colorful as the album cover, really. But I really loved how colorful and just lively that one sounded. It definitely brought me back to just really pure records from the 80s, and I love that. Number 3, Pressure. Okay, we got some guitar and horns. That riff is so crazy. Now, that one's fighting for my favorite record now. I love the funk on that one. There's a saying that I love. It's saying put some stank on it, and that had like the perfect amount of that stank. Like, it made me make my stank face the whole, like, when you look like something stinks, it's because the song is really good. Or something stinks. I don't know. My room smell good. I don't know about Any other way, any other place where people making a snake face, if they enjoying it or if it's the other reason. But that's definitely on par with the Dark Side for me. So far, 3 for 3, they're going crazy. I love how it doesn't feel like they're reaching to be something from the 80s. Like, I love how the music doesn't feel like it's a cop-out, or it doesn't feel like, oh, well, people like the 80s, so let's make the 80s so that people like the album. Like, I really like that it doesn't feel like that at all. Number 4, Propaganda. Ooh! Ooh, the guitar in the back. Bruh, stop. What? Yo. Stop everything. That's the favorite. Wow. Wow. They could not have chosen to go about that beat more perfectly. Oh, the almost whisper-like delivery, and with the guitar going, that's gorgeous. I already love the song. Ooh. You're killing me with it. That's kind of like 21 Pilots a little bit. Welcome to the Trench. Hey. Woo, they're going crazy on this one. They're going crazy on this one. This is fire. That's Prince. That's like Prince, bro. Oh my God. It's reminding me of Kiss a little bit. Not in melody, but in delivery. That's like an old Western type thing. That is absolutely fire. Oh my God. I was not expecting it to drop like that. I thought it was gonna be like way more heavy rock. I wasn't expecting the beats. I wasn't expecting that slick guitar lick in the background the whole time. The funk chords, da-na-na-na, like that is bringing me back to Kiss. That's bringing me back to You Got the Look. You know, just I miss Prince so much. 4 for 4. These guys are killing it. Number 5, Break It To Me. That's crazy. Oh! That's wild. That's so crazy. He made that off melody on. Like, the way he sang over it made it blend. Oh, that's crazy. That's so crazy. It's one of those controlled chaos type songs. A method to the madness. Like, there's a reason everything is off. Just listen. Oh, that's so crazy. Number 6, Something Human. Nice. Track. I like it. I like that it was a break from the action. It definitely was a little more emotional. I love the Daft Punk vocals in and out throughout the track. The synthesizer was dope, and the beat was definitely cool too. I liked it. Dope track. Number 7, Thought Contagion, and I believe this was the single. That's really weird. That's gotta be the first one that I didn't love. I wasn't crazy about the vocals. I think some of the noises and sounds didn't really quite work with that beat. Personally, for me, it just didn't work. That's gonna be the first one I gotta say I don't love off first listen, but maybe I'll come around to it. Maybe it'll grow on me. Who knows? But as of right now, I'm not feeling it. Number 8, Get Up and Fight. That kind of feels like a 2000s throwback. That sounds like that should have came from either Fall Out Boy or Panic. That's still throwback. Coming up on the last bit of tracks, number 9, Blockades. Okay, Daft Punk going crazy on this one. Okay. The hook is giving me Major Uprising feels. If y'all remember that one, that hook is crazy, or chorus rather. I guess it's a chorus when it comes to different types of music, but. I love how the theme has not only switched and been flexible, but also stayed true to. Like, not every track is an 80s throwback, or not every track sounds like a retro-inspired song. Some feels modern, and some feels like callbacks to their older stuff, like this one in particular. I really like the way that one was written and composed. I think the lyrics really worked with that type of, like, building production, and it felt big, and the song had a big feel to it, so it all worked. And then I think the way that it was all arranged was really, really cool too. I like how the title was sung during the breakdown as opposed to looking for it during the crescendo of music, so I like it. Number 10, Dig Down. And you fall to the ground, you must find a way. Face the firing squad against all the odds. Dig down, dig down, dig down. Oh, with a gun to your head, you must find a way. And lastly, for the standard version, number 11, The Void. That we're estranged and all alone. Yeah, baby, they're wrong. Yeah, baby, they're wrong. Yo, if Stranger Things doesn't use this for one of their episodes, I'm gonna be upset.
They're wrong.
That's crazy. Well, alrighty then. Oh, that felt like just the best ending scene, and then fade to black, and now the credits are rolling to probably Algorithm, like a reprise of it or something. Oh, that was dope. That was really dope. And like I said, if you want me to get into the rest of the Super Deluxe version, I can do a whole separate video for that. So let me know. I'll get into my comments about the album, and then I'll be on my way. But that was dope. It's so much fun to just experience. Cause y'all know I live for stuff that's vintage. After finishing Simulation Theory from Muse, I like this new but familiar sound. Like I like that I can tell it's Muse, and I can tell that this is the vibe, but I like that they use their inspiration to bring something fresh to their discography. Like I really enjoyed that they were like, yeah, let's go retro, but let's keep it how we do things, if that makes sense. Like let's stick to what we know, but make it retro, make it throwback. You know, like let's take it back to this era. Let's let's draw some inspiration from this. And I'm looking at the editor notes. They got the Stranger Things poster designer to do the cover, which is crazy. So shout out. And the '80s were just such a great era for music. I mean, countless hits, countless. We can get into that whenever, but I love the '80s. I think the '80s were such a prime and premier point for music, because so much creation and so much expression was just made in that era and given to the music and the art back then. People were just allowed to be weird and just really out there with the records. Like, so I really do enjoy that period of music. Like '70s funk was more more soulful and more musical, if you will. Like it was more about how the music made you feel, and like the raw energy that guitar licks and bass licks had. It was a lot of the '70s music was very sexual and very erotic sounding, but it was also just so full of just finesse and flair and just oh captivating stuff. And then the '80s was just so expressive and bright and colorful. The '90s were very bass heavy. 2000s were cool. I don't know what we have for the 2010s, but I love that they drew from however they're inspired by the '80s and just made some really, really great music. Like everything felt cohesive, everything felt cared for and done with purpose and done with will. It felt like they really wanted to do something that was both out of the box, but something that the fans would know. And anytime somebody takes it back, it's always news, and it's always worth checking out, because everybody loves when you throw it back to a classic. That's why people do samples. That's why Uproar is going so crazy for Lil Wayne, because that's G'd up special delivery. If you want, you can check out that record because it's crazy. But hearing that sample, people already go crazy. And so when you think of bands, Tears for Fears, Flock of Seagulls, Hall & Oates, Blondie, Pat Benatar, and I know Pat Benatar is an artist, not a band, but just thinking of the sound of then, there's a lot of David Bowie, Prince, Michael, all of this stuff, all of this great music from that time period. It's so massive and so vast. So you can take from anybody. Ooh, Cyndi Lauper, classics in the '80s. So like you can really play with whatever and treat it with love and care. You can do it well. You can do it expressively. You can do it creatively, and it can all sound great. Like you can throw a whole bunch of '80s ideas. Like you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to just like live in the '80s for this album. That's when it takes away from the original sound, in my opinion. I feel like if you do too much, it'll consume what you already were trying to do, and it won't sound like It won't sound like tribute. It won't sound like homage or homage, whichever one it is. Kind of like when The Weeknd did the I Feel It Coming record. That sounded like a Thriller record. That sounded like a throwback record, but it still sounded like The Weeknd. Still sounded like what he was doing with Daft Punk at the time. Oh, and False Alarm. False Alarm sounds like an 80s track too. So, again, using your inspiration to create something familiar but new. And I think that's the best way I can put this album. It's familiar because it sounds like Muse, but it's new because it sounds fresh. So, I'm very happy with it. And just reiterating once again, if you want me to check out the rest of the Super Deluxe version, just let me know and we'll do a part 2. That's going to do it for this episode of the Tune Up. I hope you enjoyed. All that good stuff and more. Like, share, subscribe, the whole 9. You know the bitch. You know what it is. Gerald O'Brien, and I'm out.